Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm the Artistic One, and I'm bringing you today's highlighted moment, which is a recent CNN interview of the Russian-born criminal, Anna Sorikin.
Do you think there's something about the United States where we are fascinated by con artists, grifters, liars? Is there something that we like, that we find interesting?
I would say so, yes.
The fraudster that was after $22 million from American banks. She posed as a German heiress who was awaiting $60 million in an inheritance, but it's all fake. She presented completely bogus documents to U.S. financial institutions, and after her release from prison and then immigrations, this scruffy looking, unrepentant Anna Sorikin, who went by the name of Anna Delvey while she did all of these fraudulent crimes. She isn't allowed to be on social media. I think it should be a lifelong ban because that's where she crafted her fake profile for the most part, her fake life. But she is allowed to do interviews and she winds up on social media anyway. She sat down in this last week with CNN's Jack Tapers from her New York City apartment where she remains with her expired visa. And yeah, you can probably tell that I'm kind of irritated by this story. I think it's outrageous that she can stay in the U.S. after all she did. She's a heartless Russian thief and she's not German at all in any way. She should have been deported back to Europe after her release from prison. But as per her wishes, this chick was allowed to remain in the U.S. after doing these crimes. Who gets away with that? Your cousin don't get away with that, and my cousins sure wouldn't get away with that. I'm in Germany right now, and I know exactly why Anna Sorikin doesn't ever want to come back to live in Europe. As amazing as Europe is, it's very amazing to travel in Europe. Even here in Germany, there are tons of outlets and support for creative people, which she claims to be. But no. She'd rather be in the States because she simply enjoyed this whole pimp game she came up with, being a fraudster and a thief, using this fake name Delvey. So I guess she is creative. And she did make off with hundreds of thousands of dollars scamming banks, luxury hotels, and her personal acquaintances that she called friends, all using this horrible accent. We're going to get into the CNN interview again with Jack Taper. Let's get it started right now.
So you're out of detention for the first time in a year and a half. You've been here at this apartment since Friday night. How's it feel to be semi-free?
Well, I'm so happy to be given this opportunity. I feel like I'm getting a second chance to fix my mistakes. Yeah, and I'm so happy ICE agreed to release me, even if it's just house arrest.
House arrest, and you have this ankle monitor here.
I do.
Is that annoying?
Let me just take this time to say her voice is so irritating. It's hard to listen to her. No German speaks English with this horrible accent, this horrible sound. She's trying to give off this, I'm so valley, I'm so unbothered, oh my God. And she acts like a celebrity showing off her new makeup line or something, like she's doing a collab with ICE. And yes, I have this lovely ankle bracelet. Really.
No, I'm getting used to it. They tighten it up a little bit, so it's not dangling as it used to.
Are you allowed to leave the apartment at all?
No.
Not at all?
No, well, I'm supposed to check in with my criminal parole and my ICE officers, but otherwise, no.
And do you have any idea how long you're going to be in house arrest?
No, not yet. We're figuring it out now.
Figuring it out.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think how you pass the time. I know you.
Before you start sympathizing too much with this woman, maybe you've watched the Netflix series about her fraud. You got to remember that those things are done, very glossy. They gloss over the truth, all to make it entertaining for us because that's the way we like it when we sit with our popcorn. But know that in real life, from all my research, all of her acquaintances found her to be a jerk, very entitled behaving, very arrogant, very classist, very narcissistic, even calling her psychopathic. But she did wave around a lot of money, and people were eager to keep her company because she liked paying the bills. So it's understandable that people like having friends like that.
Figuring it out. And I'm trying to think how you pass the time. I know you do art now. This is your work.
So this is a reproduction of one of my sketches, the Delvey crimes.
And then you have this free time. I don't know if you've had any time to binge any TV shows.
Oh, no.
There's one on Netflix called Inventing Anna. I'm not sure if you've seen it.
No, not yet.
You haven't seen it?
No. But I saw like about half an hour of it.
Maybe it's what's helped if you stop thinking about me like everyone else. Like basic, you know?
Have you heard, do you think she got your accent? Because it became, her depiction of your accent was so famous for a while. There was even a skit on Saturday Night Live about it. And, people would do you're so basic. People would do the accent. Is that something you enjoyed or thought was weird or what?
I don't think I sound like it, but I think she got me from the time before, because I used to, 10 years ago, I used to travel so much when I was in my mid-20s. But now I just spend so much time in the States, and I've only been speaking English, so I guess my accent is not as strong as it used to be.
Her accent is horrible. And let me just say, I think Julia Garner nailed her accent, the horrible sound. I don't know why they didn't make it sound a little more pretty, but that's the way they wanted it. Probably worked. Julia Garner probably did too good of a job. And the fact that this Anna Sorikin Delvey doesn't think she sounds like that shows you just how out of touch she is. And she's so narcissistic. She's always dropping bombs, trying to make herself look good because she's so arrogant and vain. And actually, she still sounds like that. And about her traveling regularly, I can say European kids do travel regularly from a young age. At 14 and 16 years old, they're traveling, going across national borders with their school classes. They travel like we have barbecues. With their school classes, it doesn't matter what station you have in life, you are going to travel. Most kids, they're at least bilingual, trilingual most times as teenagers. So I think Anna Sorikin, she probably did impress the first group of people she was hanging out with in the States. I'm sure she intentionally and arrogantly tried to make them feel smaller than her, less experienced than her in a sly way. I don't even think she's that smooth, really, all while treating them to the nightlife, which made it easier for them to deal with her arrogance in her horrible accent. And it also made it easier for her to manipulate her new buddies. And I'm sure they were very confused about what was going on. They just knew that she was paying the bill. But she used that influence, this following of people. You're going to get people following you when you pay the bill. And she knew that. That's not even rocket science. And that enabled her to help fake her Instagram profile and fake her way up to the next level of social status in New York. But moving on.
I wonder, you wanted to be famous and well-connected. You came to New York with all sorts of plans, and you're now known as a notorious con artist and grifter and liar. And I'm wondering, do you have any regrets?
Absolutely, yes. I feel so sorry for a lot of the choices I've made, but I also feel like I've learned so much and I grew as a person.
Have you apologized to anyone?
Yes, I did.
Who?
I said I'm very sorry for all the decisions I've made.
Oh, in court, you said it. But yeah. Have you reached out to anybody? Have you reached out to any of your friends or the hotels or the restaurants or anyone?
Well, I didn't steal any money from friends. The only friend that wasn't.
Let me just stop there. She's careful. She avoids saying that she made mistakes because she really doesn't feel like she made mistakes. She took a deep breath when he asked her that question because she doesn't want to have anything to do with the word apology or mistakes. She feels really that the mistakes that she made was getting caught. That's the mistake that she thinks she's made. And if she had it all to do again, she would be a more slick criminal. That's all. This chick is, she got a taste of the criminal life, of what it is to walk all over people. She's unrepentant. She has no patience with the word apology because she's unrepentant and she's narcissistic. She thinks other people exist so that she can walk over them. Even this spiel that she's doing for this interview, it is not well put together. She's forgetting her lines. I guess she didn't work on it long enough, or she just probably thinks she's that convincing. Her whole thing is about, I was young and I needed the money. That's her spiel. And that's the story she's sticking to. She did it in her mid-20s. It was long ago, but you'll notice she hesitates to use the word mistake.
Out of my criminal case, I got acquitted of that count.
Right.
And everybody else is a financial institution.
But when you say right now, you just said that, what you did it to financial institutions, it doesn't sound like you really regret what you did. You sound like you're almost kind of like casting it as though it was a victimless crime. It wasn't a victimless crime, right? I mean, you took advantage of people.
I definitely did, yeah. And I was younger and I learned from my mistakes.
But did you?
I did,
Did
yes.
you learn from those mistakes? I mean, are you not going to do anything like this ever again?
Absolutely not.
So you served 20 months in pretrial detention at Rikers. Then you were convicted. You did another 20 months. Then you were released. And then instead of going back to Europe, you did 18 months here in the United States in immigration custody.
That's right.
But why not be free in Europe instead of in detention in the United States? Can you help me understand
Because I'm
that?
trying to fix the mistakes that I've done in the past. And I feel like if I were to leave and say, oh, whatever, I'm just going to do, I'm just going to move on and like move to Europe. I would be like accepting the labels that they're trying to slap on me. So I think like me just staying in jail and trying to prove people wrong, gotta stand for something. I hope people will recognize it.
But what do you mean?
Let me just stop there. That doesn't even make sense what she's saying. Starting from, because I'm trying to correct the mistakes I make. She's not trying to correct any mistakes. She's paid some money in restitution because she was forced to do it. Again, this is either she's forgetting her lines, but her whole spiel is just weak. And the mistakes that she would correct is to be a better criminal, to be a better fraudster. She sees America is ripe for fraud. It's ripe for internet fraud, and she's ready for all of it. She's here for all of it. Falsifying documents, falsifying email accounts. She's here for all of it. She even used voice transformative software. This girl is willing to get the knowledge to do whatever it takes to separate people from their money in financial institutions. And she got big balls. She's ready to play. She wants to be big pimpin'.
And trying to prove people wrong, gotta stand for something. I hope people will recognize it.
But what do you mean prove people wrong? By staying in the United States and doing what? How are you going to prove anybody wrong?
Well, I'm still on my criminal parole. I'm still with ICE, and I'm trying to comply with all the rules and restrictions they're placing on me, and just kind of change the narrative.
I really love the way Jack Tapers, I love the way he conducted this interview. He gave her space. He was very professional. He allowed her to breathe or hang herself, if you want to see it that way, because I don't think it's a good look for her. She's not doing herself any favors, but he was not letting the BS fly through the room unchecked. He took her to task, put her to task, busted her up. He was not having it. It's like, girlfriend, basically. You could see it in his face. But hey, he's giving her her space. I guess for her, it's a moment to speak about her artwork. But this insanity, I wanted to change the narrative and don't accept the labels people put on you. Nobody's putting no labels on her. Nobody's even interested in her. And actually, she's worried about people in Germany putting labels on her because they would not be impressed. She would never maintain this status of celebrity that she's gained in America, and that's what she doesn't want to let go of. When she says she doesn't want to be famous, she is a bold two-faced liar. She's loving this fame. And I guess you would too if you committed a crime and Netflix did a series about you and you just basically came out of thin air. Hey, I guess if you're bold enough to go that far with it, you should enjoy the benefits of your labor. And that's what she's saying. That's all she's saying. Moving on.
What's your case to immigration for why you should get to stay in the United States after everything that happened? Why should the American people let you stay here knowing how effectively you conned and fleeced so many Americans here already?
Well, I feel like I deserve a second chance. It was one mistake that I've made, and I've served my time, and I feel like I should deserve a second opportunity.
Okay, this, I have so little patience with her. I am so appreciative of the way he conducted this interview as she still sits in the United States with her old visa, saying that she paid for her crime, she did her time, and she deserves a second chance. Look, girlfriend, chickie babe, you were a guest in a foreign country, okay? There are people that actually want to come to the U.S. They're dying to get into the U.S. and they really don't want to be famous. They will study, learn medicine, learn law. They will do childcare. They'll do gardening. They want to be cooks. They want to be teachers. They really just want to contribute to society. They believe in the American dream. This chick just wants to be a pimp. She was a terrible guest in the United States, and she does not want to come back to Germany, which has more of a social culture, and just be normal.
So you wrote a letter blasting the U.S. immigration system. You wrote, quote, female detainees are tossed in with the general criminal population, where a Honduran mother, frantic to contact her family, is locked up with a convicted murderer who starved her 7-year-old to death. So you want to change the system in what way? To keep violent offenders and non-violent offenders separated?
I feel like non-violent immigration offenders should not be incarcerated.
At all?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you just get an ankle bracelet, that serves the immigration purposes, because I feel like incarceration is very punishing, and somebody who like overstayed their visa is being put under the same conditions as somebody who committed like a violent crime.
Look, duh, you committed, you broke the law, you committed a criminal act. So let me get this as far as she's coming up with. But before I get to what she's coming up with, this whole thing, like she wants to fight for victims, advocate for the rights of detainees. This is just another scam she's coming up with. There is nothing giving and loving about this chick. Nothing. Everything she does for other people is self-serving. I've seen enough of the way she works her game. So back to what she's saying. Her premise is if you come to the States and you overstay your visa, you basically live with an expired visa and commit high crimes like she does. The punishment should be that you remain in the country and you get a cute little ankle monitor, because that's enough. This chick is outrageous. And look, I'm an immigrant. I have migrated to Europe. But I behaved myself.
Do you think there's something about the United States where we are fascinated by con artists, grifters, liars? Is there something that we like, that we find interesting?
I would say so, yes. I was thinking if I were to be prosecuted for similar crimes in Germany, I don't think people would really care.
Is that right?
Yeah, so I feel like I never really wanted to be famous. And
you didn't want to be famous? You just wanted to be influential and well-connected?
Yeah, I just wanted to like work on my business. And I feel like part of it was the prosecution, the way they portrayed me, and just the media. They kind of created this idea of me, and I'm just being left to deal with it.
She's so fake. She's such a liar. I mean, you could just unpack the mess. And if you didn't see the Netflix documentary, or you don't need to see the documentary to understand the crimes that she committed, because you can really get the real nuggets from research. But saying that she just wanted to work on her business, she's a liar. If she really wanted to work on her business, she could have took the initial money that she defrauded people out of and started to work on her company, but she didn't want to do that. She wanted to create this illusion that she had wealth. So she just bought designer goods and paid the bill, running up these expensive tabs, doing beauty care, doing fitness for her friends to give this illusion. And she doesn't want to go to Germany. Okay, let me just say this. She says that doing a similar crime in Germany, people wouldn't care. You don't even get away with these kind of, on this scale, she could never, it would never work. It would never work. She's so unimpressive. And you know what? People do go around the world and commit scams, because a lot of times they can go under the radar, and you can do this, especially in America. Oh, my English is not so good, and I speak in this broken way that makes you almost sound sophisticated. But I find her very unimpressive. I don't think it's just because I'm in Germany, and a chick like her, it just wouldn't work. And she knows she will get busted up if she comes to Germany. They will wear her out.
But you convinced people that you were an heiress, that you had lots of money that you didn't have. And
I actually never said that to anybody. That was just an assumption they had.
Well, see, you're saying all this stuff to me. It doesn't sound like you're really actually all that repentant. It doesn't sound like you're actually really regret what you did, or even necessarily think you did anything wrong.
I mean, I've definitely did like I made a lot of wrong choices.
Like what?
While just misrepresenting, I guess, my financial institutions. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to not glamorize my crimes and not lead anybody to believe that that's the way to get famous, because I suffered a lot as a result, as a consequences of my actions still. Even though I don't always show it. I'm not going to go on TV and cry, but I've done a lot of time in jail, and it's been very hard a lot of times.
So what's the plan now for how you're going to support yourself?
Okay, let me just stop for a second and go back. She talks about herself being hurt and that she wouldn't cry on television. The only reason why she wouldn't cry on television is because she would not be able to muster up the tears. If she could do it, she would do it, but her acting abilities are limited. And you notice that she doesn't speak about what the victims experience. She does not think from the victim's perspective at all, because she has no from the companies who's taking huge losses, maybe even had to let go of some of their employees who mistakenly let her get away with bills. People got fired for letting her get away with bills. She could give a flying flip about them. She doesn't care. Come on.
So what's the plan now for how you're going to support yourself?
I am working on my podcast and on doing more of my art. I'm so very happy. I've been afforded a second chance to...
Who wants to listen to her voice on a podcast? Oh,
to stay here and to fix my mistakes, and hopefully I will be
a better criminal,
known for some of my legit projects and not just what I've been trying to do when I was in my early to mid-20s.
That was just 5 years ago. 5 years ago. That in adult years, that's nothing. Come on.
Okay. The best is yet to come.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that was the interview. I really appreciate Taper not letting her get away with this stuff. This chick is multiple things are not right with her. One thing, I don't think she really has, I don't know, but I don't think her hair is naturally thin. I imagine that she pulls her hair when she's in private. It's just she don't look any kind of healthy, and she never really did. Sometimes she managed to take some okay looking pictures. I mean, this woman is young. Most of her pictures are from her 20s. To me, she looks 20 years older than what she is. I don't find her impressive at all. She's such a scruffy looking chick. No amount of designer stuff. She is just not pulling it together. There are other photos of her where she manages to look decent. She should. She's a young woman. She's just in her early 30s. Is she 31, 32, maybe 33 maximum? She's a young woman, but she's always looking scruffy most of the time. But maybe that added to the mystique of her. People bought into her story, you know, it's interesting. And she's dropping money, and she's probably speaking in different languages. We love a good story and we love accents in the States. I would never say that she was good at what she did. Maybe she definitely put in work, and it's kind of impressive that she got away with it, but I'm not impressed by her at all. She probably just found the right people that would fly with. You know, she used a sleight of hand, just keep the people's eye on the money. That's what she was successful with. And even that she's able to stay in the States when she should be sent back to Germany, even though she is not German. And Germany, I must say, has very lenient sentencing. They don't keep people in jail for decades, even for horrific offenses. You get out. And she would have been free anyway. She just knows that she will be reduced to what she really is, a very ordinary chick. And none of the BS will fly that she got away with in the States. She's unconvincing. She's scruffy at that. People in the States just bought into her story. And, you know, we love accents anyway. And she was dropping money, letting people run up tabs. And I'm sure she came off as mysterious, and she could probably drop some different languages on people. And, you know, everybody likes a friend like that that's going to let you run up a tab, take you shopping, treat you to, you know, spa sessions. This chick has a lot of nerve, though. She is a serious liar. People gave her a pass because she was dropping $100 bills all over the place, letting people run up these bar tabs. I mean, what is there to complain about? That's all I got for y'all today. I did the reaction. It's a mess. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe so you can check out the next videos I put out. They will be interesting. Thank you so much for watching. See you the next time. Peace.